In this video, we'll be taking a look at 2 college football games happening on December 30th, 2023, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 4 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 2 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Georgia versus Florida State. College Bowl season is currently underway, featuring an exciting clash of Power 5 programs as a team from the Southeastern Conference goes head-to-head with one from the Atlantic Coast Conference. This matchup involves the number 6 Georgia Bulldogs facing off against the number 5 Florida State Seminoles in the highly anticipated Capital One Orange Bowl on a Saturday afternoon. Notably, both teams narrowly missed securing a spot in the college football playoff. Georgia suffered a 27-24 defeat against number 8 Alabama in the Southeastern Conference Championship game on December 2nd, falling short as a 5.5-point favorite. Conversely, Florida State emerged victorious in the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship game on the same day, defeating number 14 Louisville 16-6 as a 1.5-point underdog. The historical series between the Bulldogs and Seminoles favors Georgia, holding a 6-4-1 lead, including a 26-13 win in their most recent encounter during the Sugar Bowl on January 1, 2003. Following their loss to Alabama, Georgia concluded the season at 12-1, with their hopes for a third college football playoff berth dashed. The Bulldogs, known for their offensive prowess, scoring an average of 38 points per game, are seeking redemption against Florida State. The Georgia offense boasts impressive statistics, averaging 305.6 passing yards, 177.3 rushing yards, and a 54.8% conversion rate on third downs. Defensively, Georgia has allowed an average of 17 points per game. On the other hand, Florida State completed an undefeated season with a 13-0 record after triumphing over Louisville in the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship game. Despite being excluded from the playoff, the Seminoles aim to prove they were unjustly snubbed. Their offense, averaging 37 points per game, features 259.4 passing yards, 156.8 rushing yards, and a 37.4% conversion rate on third downs. The Florida State defense has allowed an average of 16 points per game. The handicap for this game is straightforward. Florida State faces significant challenges with player availability, particularly notable absentees such as quarterback Jordan Travis, backup quarterback Tate Rodemaker, wide receiver Keon Coleman, wide receiver Johnny Wilson, defensive end Jared Verse, tight end Jaheim Bell, running back Trey Benson, and more. This leaves third-string quarterback Brock Glenn as the signal caller against a formidable Georgia defense. Glenn's previous performance in the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship game against Louisville was subpar, and the lack of weapons further diminishes confidence in his ability. In contrast, Georgia is expected to field most of its key players, with Carson Beck leading the offense. Motivated by the prospect of becoming the winningest class in program history, Georgia is likely to approach the game with determination, especially considering Florida State's potential move to the Southeastern Conference in future seasons. What was once envisioned as a marquee matchup between 2 season-long powerhouses has been overshadowed by injuries and opt-outs. Georgia, fueled by disappointment after losing their chance at a 3rd consecutive title, faces a Florida State team significantly weakened on the offensive front. Glenn's uninspiring performance in the Atlantic Coast Conference title game raises concerns, compounded by the reduced arsenal against a Georgia defense ranking in the top 10 in scoring. Despite the substantial point spread in the Orange Bowl, the contrast in motivation heavily favors Georgia. An intriguing question arises: what odds would make supporting Florida State viable in this game? The answer is rhetorical, as the myriad challenges faced by the Seminoles make it difficult to justify backing them in the Capital One Orange Bowl. Georgia, superior on both offense and defense, is poised to dominate a depleted Seminoles squad and conclude the season on a positive note. out. Consequently, our full game side pick is for the Georgia Bulldogs to win and cover the spread as favorites. Georgia's season has seen the under prevail in 7 out of 13 games. The Bulldogs achieved a balanced split in relation to the total in their 6 away games this season. Notably, they stayed under the total in their last 3 games, including road matchups against Tennessee and Georgia Tech, as well as the Southeastern Conference title game against Alabama in Atlanta. Conversely, Florida State has exceeded the total in 7 of their 13 games this season. The Seminoles remained under the total in 4 of their 7 away games from Tallahassee, with 4 of their last 5 games falling short of the number. Anticipating Georgia to dictate the pace in this game, the Florida State defense is expected to face little resistance. While Georgia's offensive explosiveness is evident throughout the season, a spirited defensive effort from the Bulldogs could spell trouble for a struggling Florida State offense. In evaluating this game, it becomes crucial to set aside season metrics and rely on visual assessment. The talent disparity is substantial, and it appears unlikely that the Seminoles will score much, if at all, against the formidable Georgia defense. Given Florida State's depleted roster and the possibility of Georgia being slightly disinterested after missing out on the college football playoff, the game is expected to fall short of the projected total. Therefore, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Toledo versus Wyoming. A highly anticipated matchup between the Toledo Rockets and the Wyoming Cowboys is set to take place on Saturday within the confines of Arizona Stadium as part of the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl. The Rockets, with an impressive record of 11-2, are gearing up for the game after facing a setback with a 23-14 loss to the Miami Redhawks in the Mid-American Conference Championship game. On the other hand, the Cowboys, holding an 8-4 record, concluded their regular season triumphantly with a convincing 42-6 victory over the Nevada Wolfpack. Wyoming's head coach, Craig Bohl, who has led the team for the past decade, recently announced his retirement, making this game his swan song. The Cowboys closed out the regular season with an 8-4 overall record in the Mountain West standings, boasting a 7-4-1 record against the spread. Their recent performances have been dominant, securing a 42-9 win against Hawaii and repeating the feat against Nevada in a 42-9 triumph. Quarterback Andrew Peasley played a pivotal role, amassing 165 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 96 rushing yards, and 2 additional touchdowns. The spotlight in this game is likely to focus on Peasley's performance. Meanwhile, Toledo's quarterback Dequan Finn, a key player for the team, has decided to transfer to Baylor, leaving a notable void in their lineup. Despite finishing the regular season with an impressive 11-2 record, the Rockets suffered a setback on December 2nd, losing 23-14 to the Miami Redhawks. The absence of Finn will undoubtedly impact their offensive dynamics. Toledo, with an average of 34 points per game, relies on a robust defense that concedes 21 points per game. In this upcoming game, the defensive unit will need to step up significantly to compensate for the offensive changes. Although Toledo fell short in the Mid-American Conference Championship game, their overall season was commendable with 11 victories. As they head to the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl, they aim to secure consecutive bowl victories, a feat not achieved since the 2014-2015 season. However, the absence of starting quarterback Dequan Finn, who transferred to Baylor, presents a challenge. Despite Finn's departure, Toledo's head coach Jason Candle is determined to navigate through this hurdle. On the other side, Wyoming's Craig Bohl is set to retire, adding a sentimental touch to the Cowboys' quest for victory after their defeat in the previous year's edition of this bowl game. The Toledo Rockets, with a 6-7 record against the spread this season, face a Wyoming Cowboys team that boasts a 7-4-1 record against the spread. Despite Toledo's strong regular season, the absence of Dequan Finn poses challenges to their offense. In contrast, the Cowboys, not known for dominating offensively, rely on a solid defensive strategy, giving them control over the game. Toledo enters the game without quarterback Dequan Finn, who amassed 2,657 passing yards and 563 rushing yards during the regular season. Tucker Gleason steps in as the starting quarterback with limited experience, having thrown for 199 yards, rushed for 5 yards, and delivered 4 touchdown passes. With Wyoming anticipated to deploy a defensive strategy focused on stopping the run, Toledo's offense will face a challenging task. Wyoming's balanced offensive approach, led by quarterback Andrew Peasley, aims to exploit any weaknesses in Toledo's defense, particularly on the ground. Tucker Gleason, a transfer from Georgia Tech, steps into the quarterback role for the Toledo Rockets as Dequan Finn's departure to Baylor leaves a void. The motivation for Toledo is questioned, considering their disappointment in missing out on a bigger bowl appearance after the Mid-American Conference Championship setback. In contrast, the Wyoming Cowboys, making their third appearance in the Arizona Bowl in the last 5 years, have a sense of familiarity and motivation to bid farewell to Coach Craig Bohl on a high note. Expect a closely contested game due to Toledo's robust defense, but the lack of offensive firepower for the Rockets may prove to be their downfall, allowing Wyoming to emerge victorious. Wyoming's entertaining season, coupled with Coach Bohl's retirement, adds an extra layer of anticipation to this matchup. Anticipating Wyoming to win by more than a field goal, the analysis points to their stable offensive lineup and the absence of significant player transfers, opt-outs, or injuries. Wyoming's offense, ranked 50th in rushing and 51st in passing, led by quarterback Andrew Peasley, positions them favorably in this one, so the Wyoming Cowboys to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. While Wyoming is expected to score adequately with a complete offensive lineup, Toledo's struggle without starting quarterback Dequan Finn will likely impact their offensive dynamics. The total has trended under in Toledo's recent games, and the expectation is for both teams to emphasize running plays, consuming more clock time and resulting in fewer possessions for each side. The absence of starting quarterback Dequan Finn adds an intriguing dimension to Toledo's offensive strategy against the Wyoming Cowboys, known for their solid defensive performance. Despite Wyoming's ability to score 42 points in their final 2 regular season games, both teams have excelled defensively. Toledo has allowed an average of 21 points in their last 5 games, while Wyoming boasts a stingy defense, conceding only 16 points in their last 4 games. The under has been a prevalent trend in recent matchups, hitting in 5 of the previous 7 games. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.